Hello everyone, welcome to the CloudLearn AWS Zero to Hero series. This is the day 23rd video. In this video, we are going to talk about Elastic Load Balancer. So if you see the name, in the name itself, it has something called a load balancer, right? What is this load balancer means? We call it as a ELB. What is the meaning of a load balancer? Any guess? Based on the name, we can guess that it is going to balance the load. That's true. It is going to balance the load. But on what basis and how? For that, let us take an example. Let us say you are going to run a website. You are going to run a website for your organization. So generally what you do depends on the website, web application, like whether it was developed using HTML, Java, .NET, or an PHP website or whatever. You create a server, right? In which you will have the hardware like CPU, RAM, hard disk, and all. On top of that, you will have the operating system, and then you will have the web server. It can be Apache or it can be IIS or whatever. And then you place the website code over here. And this particular server will have an IP address, which is going to be a public IP address. So what the users will do, let us say your website name is the CloudLearn.com. Okay, so let us say 100 people open their laptops and they open a browser and they type this particular website, the cloudlearn.com. What happens? All the 100 requests will go to the web server. The website, the server in which the website is running, and that server will send the response. Response in the sense the web pages means 100 users are connected to the single server. Load balancing means we will maintain minimum two servers, identical servers, same exact copy will be maintained here. And instead of directly sending all 100 requests to single server, here we will have a thing called a load balancer. And all these requests will go to the load balancer and it will distribute the load equally across both the servers. So they follow something called a round robin method. There are multiple things that we can discuss in detail. But simple thing, load balancer will receive the traffic. I can say the traffic, and it will distribute the traffic across these two servers, equally distributed. Not what is the use so that the load on a single server will be reduced. Not only for load balancing, these load balancers can be used for high availability also. For high availability also. How? Let us say if you are having a single server and due to some hardware issues or whatever, if that server crashed, to create another server and to make your website up and running, it might take some time, right? During that time, no user can access your website. But in this case, the load balancer not only distribute the load, it will provide high availability. On what basis? So the same example, 100 users, 50 people connected on the server 1 and 50 people connected on the server 2. Suddenly, the server 1 got crashed. Then automatically, it will distribute all the new users to the healthy server. And existing users, whenever they try to navigate another web page in the same site, they will be moved to the thing. Means the load balancer will never distribute the traffic across multiple servers blindly. It will only distribute the traffic to the healthy servers. To the healthy servers. And these servers are called as targets. These servers are called as targets. Let us make it more simple. In any load balancer, because in the Elastic load balancer, we have about like four types of load balancers: application load balancer, network load balancer, that we will discuss in the next few minutes. So in any load balancer, there are two components. One is load balancer module, and the second one is target group. Here, let us say this rectangular box is going to be the target group. What is the target group? The target group contains the targets. I will say server 1 and this is server 2. And then we will have a load balancer here. And the load balancer will be connected with the target group. This is target group. And these two are targets. Target means the load balancer will distribute the traffic to the targets, or I can say healthy targets. Okay. So here the name the name of the website is going to be the CloudLearn, just for example, right? So whenever here 100 users are trying to access your website on the server 1 and server 2, the website is hosted. My company website is hosted. So here all the 100 requests will go to the load balancer, and the load balancer will send all the 100 requests to the target group. What this target group will do continuously, it will perform a health check. It will perform a health check of all targets. How many targets here we have? This is 1 and this is 2. How it will perform the health check is websites will run on either HTTP or HTTPS. As I don't have a proper valid domain name and all, I can't run on a HTTPS. So I will run my website properly on HTTP because that doesn't require any website name or any SSL certificate and all. Means my website is running on HTTP protocol, which is 80 port. So this target group continuously check the 80 port on all the targets, that the 80 port is healthy or not. Means a website is running on 80 port or not. If it is running, it will mark the server as a healthy. Otherwise, it will mark the server as unhealthy. So at initial point of time, whenever both the servers are healthy, the traffic will send to both the targets. Suddenly, whenever the server 2 got crashed, that target group identifies the server 2 is unhealthy. It will not send the traffic to server 2. Always it will send the traffic to server 1. And whenever the server 2 came online and it becomes healthy, immediately the target group validates that server 2 is healthy, and it will start distributing the load across both the servers. So that's how we can maintain the high availability. Also, always it is recommended to distribute the targets across multiple availability zones. Why? Because if I create both the targets in the same availability zone, and if there is a physical hardware failure in that particular availability zone, both your targets will be unhealthy and your website will be down, right? To avoid these kind of situations, it is always recommended to maintain your targets across multiple availability zones. You can have a 3, 4, 5, that doesn't matter. And how much you will be charged, how many servers you will maintain, for those many servers, you will be charged. And for load balancer, there is an extra cost. I will explain, like how many hours you will use, you will run that particular load balancer, you will be charged for that. And whatever the practical we are going to perform, for that particular practical, you will not be charged because we are going to use the free tier eligible load balancer. Okay, the first point is like Elastic Load Balancer is a highly available AWS managed service, means that load balancer is managed by AWS. You or me are not responsible to make that load balancer service up and running or high availability. That will be taken care by the AWS. And what is the purpose? It will distribute the load across multiple healthy servers. These servers are known as targets. And the other advantage or other use case of the load balancer is also we can achieve high availability using the load balance, right? Whatever we discussed earlier, the same thing I'm going to update as a points. By default, all the traffic will be distributed across multiple targets. But whenever any target is unhealthy, then all the other healthy, then all the traffic will be redirected to the other healthy targets. Already I mentioned there are two modules in the load balancer. Elastic Load Balancer has two modules. One is load balancer and the second one is a target group. What is the load balancer? Actual use of the load balancer is it will receive the requests from the users, the traffic, and it will be forwarded to the target group. And then what is the target group? The target group is the group in which we register the targets. Targets are our actual servers. And what is the purpose of the target group? The target group can distribute the traffic across all the healthy registered targets. For that, we have to create a health check. We have to create a health check. Why? To monitor your targets and evaluate the health of the targets and on how the traffic will be distributed across all healthy targets is by default they use a method called round robin method. They use a method called round robin method. What is the meaning of round robin method? To understand that, let us say there are 10 users. There are 10 users trying to access. So first user will be connected to server 1, second user, third user, fourth user, fifth, sixth. Like alternatively, the users will be connected across both the targets. If you have a three, let us say if you have a three servers, 1, 2, 3, then how it works? First user, second user, third user, fourth user, fifth, sixth user, seventh, eighth, ninth, tenth, like this. This is what the round robin method. This is what the round robin method. Okay. Already I mentioned there are different types of load balancers available. The first one is application load balancer. This is what we are going to use for our practical because there is a free tier eligible. The second one is network load balancer. This is also known as NLB. Sorry. The third one is gateway load balancer. And the last one is a classic load balancer, which is not recommended to use, which is outdated. I think already they discontinued or they are going to discontinue this classic load balancer in the future. Okay, what is the use case of each type of a load balancer? What is the use case? When to use what type of a load balancer? Because the purpose of all load balancers are same, distribute the traffic. Then what is the purpose? Application load balancer supports HTTP, HTTPS, and WebSocket protocols. Means whenever you have a website or web application to be hosted using a load balancer, then application load balancer is recommended to use. What is the use case of the application load balancer? So modern web applications, it can be a websites or a web application. So I can say HTTP on the HTTPS protocol. Like I can say to run websites or web applications on HTTP and HTTPS protocol. HTTP and HTTPS. And also it supports API and front-end routing also. And it also supports host-based routing or path-based routing. What is the meaning of a host-based routing? Let us say the cloudlearn.com, right? Slash images URL slash videos, right? So in the load balancer, especially in the ALB, we can create some rule that if the URL has slash images, send the traffic to server 1. If the URL has a slash videos at the end, send the request to server 2. This is called host-based or path-based routing requirements. Host-based or path-based routing requirements. It also supports host-based or path-based routing. Then the next one is a network load balancing. This is also called as NLB, right? It is actually supports TCP. TCP means all protocols, not only 80 and 443, any, I mean, like application running on any port or using any protocol. So NLB supports TCP, TLS, and UDP protocols. Like the application running on any port, you can use network load balancer. And it has ultra low latency, which can handle millions of requests per a second. Millions of requests per second means it can handle millions of requests per second. Generally, when these kind of network load balancers can be used is whenever there is a heavy traffic, very huge traffic, millions of connections per second, or if you are using some kind of a mail server, and if you want to maintain a load balancer for your mail servers or any kind of applications which are running other than HTTP and HTTPS protocols, then you have to use this kind of a network load balancing. Also, these network load balancer can be used to balance the load across VPN or a direct connect links. And this is the next one is gateway load balancer. This was recently introduced one. Gateway load balancer, also called as GWLB, not GLB. They use it like a terminology like GWLB. It is layer 3 or layer 4 device, but we don't care about that. That's okay. What are the features? It balances the load, I mean, it balances the traffic to virtual appliances. Simply, I can say it can be used to distribute the load across network appliances, virtual network appliances. What does that mean? Like firewalls, IDS, like intrusion detection systems, etc. And it can be integrated with third-party network security appliances. Integrates with third-party network security appliances. Use case is like center, like simple thing to monitor or to distribute the network traffic of virtual networking devices. So it will use something called Geneva protocol to distribute the traffic of a Geneva protocol. It has to be used gateway load balancer. But in our regular way, we don't use that unless you are working as a network administrator or security expert. You don't care about this gateway load balancer. Finally, the classic load balancer. I can say This is a legacy ELB solution, means like outdated one or old one. It only supports simple load balancing for EC2 instances. It doesn't support balancing the load across other than EC2 instances. That's why I said basic load balancing. It has a limited routing capabilities. It doesn't support no HTTP 2 support. HTTP 1, HTTP 1.1, HTTP 2, right? It doesn't support the latest things. So this CLB is not recommended by AWS itself. Okay, right. So these are the different types of load balancers available. And what we do is out of all these, the way how they works is same. And as of now, this classic load balancer is not yet fully obsolete, but Amazon is it's already like end of life. Means like they don't support or they don't provide any support for classic load balancer, which means no new features or no new enhancements for that. But they did not announce end of life cycle for CLP. Might be in the future they won't. They will completely remove the classic load balancer. Okay, right. So this is about the elastic load balancers, the theory part. In the next video, we will use the application load balancer to create or to perform hands-on exercises to on like how to use a load balancer to distribute the traffic of a website. For the website, just we will use a simple website code and we will run the websites on EC2 instances and we will use the load balancer and we will distribute the traffic. I hope you got clarity about what is elastic load balancer and how we can use them to maintain the high availability and all high performance. If you have any questions, feel free to reach me on the comment section and I can help you out. Thank you, everyone. And in the next video, we will see the hands-on exercises on the elastic load balancer part. Thank you.